everyone, and welcome back to the Tinmore Podcast, where we're going to be reading about treasure hunting. Isn't that exciting? And we're joined by
Yeah,
Milku
Oh,
oh,
I'm
and
eating mac and
Mecca
cheese.
that's me.
with mac and cheese. And
Okay, gee.
I'm eating mac and cheese. And that is very exciting. We're continuing from last time, so if you didn't listen to that one, what are you doing here? That's not really the point. Go back and watch the first part.
Yeah.
And we're continuing from the halfway point.
Yes. Okay. So I'll be reading first. Um.
Yes.
Yeah. So, when we last left off, they were rowing that idol of Francis back to the boat, and Haddock is just all happy. He's got his hand in the water. He's like, it's so nice here. The sea is just beautiful. This is amazing. And then Tintin's like, Haddock, there's a shark. And Haddock like yeets his hand out of the water. And it's like, oh, it almost took my hand right off. And there's another one. Oh no. And he grabs the gun
Oh,
and he's like, I'll teach them. And he shoots one of the sharks and it goes bing. And it comes up and it's Mr. Sunflower Man in the
Woo!
shark sub. And Tintin's like, hey,
oh.
but and Tintin's like, hey, maybe that machine that we rejected multiple times will come in handy after all. And it's the next day, and I'm sorry,
Going so fast.
I'm gonna go a bit slower actually, so I'm starting over.
No, I'm talking about the comic, not you. It's not you. It's like the comic that's going so fast.
Well, I think I am going a little bit fast, so I will slow my roll just a little bit. Or maybe it just seems like that because the comic is going fast.
Yes, it's not you. I swear, I wasn't talking about you.
Okay, right. So Haddock is basically just like, you're really going, Tintin? And he's looking all sassy. He's like, absolutely, Sunflower. Explained exactly how it works. It's gonna be perfectly fine. And Sunflower's like, wait, just a minute. I forgot to tell you something. Which, at least he
it,
remembered.
it explodes when you hit something.
Yeah, right. It's like, by the way, you're not coming back up. Good job. Have fun. But yeah, he says that little red button on the left of the panel, it releases a small canister attached to the underside of the machine, and it gives off like a thick smoke when it comes into contact with water. And so when he finds the treasure, um, it's gonna like, show them where it is, basically. And Tintin's like, okay, I got it. A red button. And Sunflower's like, no, red, a little red button. And then Tintin just goes, there goes the boy. They say, there he goes. He's underwater now. So,
He may die.
Continue just like, oh my god, let's just go.
just
Leave
the submarine looks happier than he does, to be honest.
True.
Like,
me. Yeah,
Why is it so happy?
I
yeah.
don't know. It's returned to the sea where it belongs. But yeah, Tintin's having fun with Snowy because Snowy got in with him. Because why not?
It seems like
And
a hazard to
it does.
have
'Cause,
a
like,
dog
do you
in the submarine.
like dogs are so finicky sometimes, and if that dog pushes a button that he didn't mean to, then they could die.
Yeah.
Like, I get that Tintin loves Snowy, but like that just seems like dangerous.
Every single rule he can break.
Mm. Well, he's Tintin, so he can do whatever he wants, I guess.
He's Tintin, so even if Snowy does something stupid, he'll bounce right back somehow.
There you go. But yeah, Snowy comments, he's like, oh, this is a lot of water. And basically it's just um Tintin's underwater, he's exploring. Haddock hopes nothing goes wrong. and then something goes wrong, and Tintin's like, "Hey, what happened? The engine stopped moving," and it turns out that the propeller has a bunch of weeds tangled in it, and Tintin's like, "Okay, well, clearly the solution to this is backing out, like reversing." And I don't know, but he tries that, and unsurprisingly, it's no good. The propeller's like super jammed up, and it's like, wow, Tintin, shocker. And then he goes, Snowy, my boy, how do we get out of this? And then he's like, okay, well, I guess the only thing I can do is press the button. And so he does. And the smoke goes off, and Haddock is like, look, look, he found the wreck of the unicorn. And Haddock, he like grabs Sunflower. He's like, look, there he found it. And Sunflower's like, oh, Captain, look, there's the smoke. He found the wreck. And Haddock is looking like he's about to punch this dude. And Tintin goes, oh, don't worry, Snowy, we'll be rescued soon. And Haddock is like, lower the dinghy, we'll be over there soon. And they hand Haddock this thing to look into the water with. And so he gets in a rowboat with Sunflower, and Haddock's like, hey, it's kind of weird that Tintin hasn't come up yet. That's kind of, you know. And Sunflower's like, no, but I was a great sportsman in my youth.
Okay.
Backstory. Anyways. And he continues in the next panel. He's like, that accounts for the athletic figure that I still have. It's like, what? But anyways, Haddock is like, and well, Haddock starts to look under the water. Sunflower's still going. He's like, to be honest, it was mostly walking. And Haddock's just like,
I like how in the panel before he just says, fascinating. He just agrees with him.
yeah, he's like, interesting.
Just like, I don't care. Basically.
Old man.
He's like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks under the water and he's like, that's not the wreck, it's Tintin. And it's like, good job. Sunflower's like, he's like, let me look. And Haddock's like, oh, the propeller is, he says fouled by weeds, which is just a really funny way of phrasing that, I think. And he's like, oh, how are we gonna save Tintin? And Sunflower gets done with looking through the thing. He's like, you're deceived because that's not the wreck, it's Tintin. He can't come back up. And it's like, Haddock says, no kidding! It's stupid machine, that's what it is. Yeah, because any other machine would have fared perfectly fine.
Totally.
And Sunflower's just like, mate, drown? Well, he has enough oxygen for 2 hours, so he's got like another 10 minutes. So, and Tintin's like, I really hope they hurry because it's getting hard to breathe. And so Haddock's like, okay, Sunflower, what are we gonna do? And Sunflower's like, lower a diver. No, by the time we get the equipment ready, Tintin's gonna be dead. We'll just find his corpse. And
dead.
He's gonna be dead. And and
Wow.
so Sunflower proposes taking the anchor and from that was gonna moor the buoy, the floaty thing.
Bowie? Do you mean Bowie?
The floaty thing.
Buoy.
Boy.
Buoy. Yeah, they're gonna have an anchor attached to that. And Haddock, he's like, the anchor, what are you gonna do with that? And Sunflower was like, yeah, we're gonna try and hook it onto the submarine and then we'll be able to pull on it until the weeds break. And so they lower the hook down and Tintin's like, oh, I see what they're gonna do, okay. And he decides to like empty the ballast tanks so that it is easier for them. And Sunflower's like watching. He's like, okay, he understood. He's emptied the tanks to make the submarine lighter. And he's like, it's like, so the situation kind of ends up being like Sunflower trying to direct Haddock, but it's just kind of like if your friend was wearing a blindfold while operating a crane machine.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't hear anything.
Haddock's like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. Basically, that's what's happening. And the prize is a Tintin. Yay!
Yay.
Yay.
Yay! But yeah, they get it, and Tintin's like, oh, just in time because I'm suffocating.
I'm saved. I'm suffocating, by the way.
He's like, oh, it's because I'm about to die. Hurry up. But then, oh no, the hook slips. And Sunflower's like, oh, you missed. It didn't catch properly, so you gotta lower it again, Haddock. And
Sounds
they
like
play crane.
it sounds like a very childish method of like encouragement. Oh no, you missed. Try again.
Yeah. It's
Haddock's
literally,
like,
Ooh.
but you missed, try again is literally something that would pop up on a crane machine.
True.
you knocked over a building. Oh, you missed. Try again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Relatable.
But yeah, they do end up getting it hooked around the fin of the shark. And Sunflower's like, pull it up. Gosh dang it, get it. And Hattie's like, what do you think I'm trying to do? Playing the horn? Or she says cornet. I don't know what that is. So.
Cornet? Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Just an
It kind
instrument.
of sounds more like a flower than an instrument. I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's a very weird that Haddock can pull enough for the boat not to tip over, but to break the weeds. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very
Anyways.
stable boat.
Yeah.
Well, just.
He is that strong.
Well, you know, we're just gonna pretend there's a good
Pass over.
explanation.
Yes.
Anyway. But yeah, that is pretty weird. I don't know. Who knows?
Physics.
Physics.
The submarine itself can't get through the weeds, but like
Strong man Haddock can.
Just one man. Yes. One man. Only one man. Who will win? Submarine or drunken captain?
Please cut this out, Mika. This is shit awkward.
Okay.
Who will win? Submarino man. It sounds like a horrible show. Submarino man.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, basically Haddock, he like, when he finally breaks the weeds and pulls the machine up, he kicks Sunflower and then topples over the side of the boat, and he starts like swearing and stuff, and he goes, I hope there aren't any sharks. And then Tintin in the shark submarine comes up and just beans Haddock.
Booty can.
It's like a wrestling move almost.
With a shark.
Yeah.
K.O.
You ever just get wrestled by a shark? By your friend?
Relatable.
Right? But Tintin, he's like, finally I can breathe. And Sunflower starts to celebrate. He's like, yay! And a fish comes and I guess yanks the boy out of the boat.
Yeah, that's very confusing. Like, what even is that? Why is that just like a brick tied to the end?
That's the floating thing.
Yeah, but
that they were gonna.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the anchor was like dropping down, and then the buoy was laying in the boat, and then it hit him.
Why does the fish Why does the fish pull it down though?
I don't think
like
it
there's
does.
no bait.
I don't think it's a
Oh, it
fish.
doesn't?
But I don't think the fish pulls it down. I just think it's aesthetic. It's
No,
like
it makes it look like the fish does pull it down.
Yeah,
Because
it
it's
does look like.
and
no,
then the thing.
you can look at the anchor like the air water flow, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like going down, and because it's going down, the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
oopsie.
pretty
I don't know, they just
confused.
kind of make it look like the fish is the one that yanked on it. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
does. Why did he add that fish there?
The fish is shocked and milk you. It's important for the fish's reaction.
It's important. It's important that the fish yanks it down,
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
even though it did not. I don't know. It could be like easily misinterpreted.
Yeah.
As evidenced by us misinterpreting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, it shows the Thompsons. They're like, oh, they're perfectly fine, and they've got everything under control now. And Hank's like, well, that was funny how Tintin almost died, right? And it's like, Haddock. I don't know, he says specifically, our friend Tintin had a narrow escape, and it's like, yeah, he did. He almost died. And then Sunflower, he goes, you're wrong, I assure you. Weeds are jammed in the propeller. You'll see when we're back on board. And then they get back on board. He like is kind of yanking on the weeds that are jammed in the propeller. He's like, you see, it's just weeds. And Haddock goes, really? I thought they were just weeds. To like make fun of him, which is kind of mean, because like it's not this guy's fault. But I don't know.
Nah, he just doesn't like calculus.
I don't know.
That's their dynamic.
Yeah.
Calculus
You
says something, and then Haddock's like, "Shut the heck up."
It's
I
a
was about to
love-hate
say a bad
relationship.
word.
I mean, they are good friends eventually, so like
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, Snowy's like, I don't want to go in that thing ever again, and Tintin's like, Snowy, we're going in there again, and they get in there again, because Tintin has like just no sense of.
Communication with his dog.
Well, I was gonna say self-preservation, but I guess that too. Like Tintin he literally almost just died in this thing. He's like, yeah, let's go back, and I don't know.
I
It's
mean, can we talk about how unclear the water is? Like, it's in the Caribbean, I think. Isn't the
mhm.
water very, very clear there? Like, clearer than this swamp-looking water.
Well, I've never been there, so I don't know.
I think it is.
I think it's more just like so you could tell that it was underwater,
Yeah, I guess.
you know?
It's
It's
so
an
green.
aesthetic choice. It is
Yeah,
very green, but it looks nice. So,
it is.
Yeah, I
in a
guess.
way. But yeah, Hanuki's just leaning against the railing like, oh, I hope Tintin doesn't get into any more trouble. But, um, it's Tintin. He's always gonna get in more trouble. But, Sunflower comes. He's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Should I tell him or not? And he goes, no, I'm gonna tell him. And he goes up to Haddock. He's like, I have bad news. Haddock's like, bad news? What are you talking about? And Sunflower's like, no, it's bad news for you. Very bad news. It looks like the unicorn isn't here. Look. And he holds up like this little, it looks like a pendulum on a string, kind of whatever. And Haddock, he frowns at it. He's like, what is this? And it is a pendulum.
It's the
Some
unicorn.
It
It
is
is
the
the
unicorn.
It represents the unicorn, and
Yes.
every time it swings, the unicorn is not there.
Yeah.
According to my calculations, unicorn
Not
is not
here.
here.
Go further forward. Keep going.
It's like in those stories, where you have the thing that only does a specific thing when something is near. It's like that.
It's just a tiny
So
little
yeah,
rope with a piece of gold on it that swings.
yeah. It is actually a pendulum, though. Because Sunflower, he says, "This is a pendulum. I've taken up the study of divining," which I can't explain to you what it is exactly unless I Google it, which I'm not gonna do right now. But
Become
he's like,
God. Divining.
no, I think it's just a thing where like you hold something and then
Something
it'll tell you
happens.
if there's like, yeah, I think it might tell you like if there's metals nearby or something, but I don't know for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, that seems very ineffective on a ship. And with a person
Yeah.
in a aluminium or metallic submarine.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, I'm probably wrong about that. So,
Uh,
but you don't know. The boat could be made of wood, Koso.
yeah. We can have our imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how this pendulum works, but like, whatever.
I mean,
It's a kid's comic.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure like it's an actual thing, but I don't know enough about it to say anything. So.
Wikipedia, Wikipedia, if anyone wants to, but we won't.
Well, anyways, basically, Sunflower, he's like, yeah, because of the pendulum swinging, or no, he just says, because of this pendulum, I've arrived at the conclusion I just said, the one about the unicorn not being here. And Hank's like, all that from this stupid thing, and um, Sunflower's like, yep, it's farther west. You'll see. And my pendulum will begin to swing from east to west. Look, there it goes, and it starts to swing.
How did
And
they end up with that like result? Like, yes, it is west.
Yeah.
How can you know it's not north?
well, I don't know.
It's
He's probably
Sunflower
saying
Man. Don't question Sunflower.
okay, we'll not question him at all. But anyways,
Dangerous man.
he's the most dangerous man in the world,
Yep.
which I think we established in the previous episode. But yeah, he turns his back to Haddock. He's like, "Oh, you see it swinging westwards. The unicorn is going to be found in that direction." And one of the Thompsons goes, "Look, Captain, smoke!" And Haddock is like, "Oh, and that's the submarine resurfacing. This time he really found the wreck." I wanted to make a joke about that, like us
But
being wrecks, but like
it's
but
okay. I am a wreck.
we're all a little bit of a wreck at this point, to be honest. But anyway,
Yeah, true.
Haddock he yells, "Hey, Tintin, did you find it?" And Sunflower has no idea. He's like, "Yep, the pendulum is pointing westward." And
Well,
Tintin, he has the hatch open. Hmm?
didn't he, I can't tell from the panel above, but isn't he actually pointing to west? Like he's pointing, and Tintin is coming from over there.
Mm,
It looks like it. Like on
yeah.
the where it says further west, maritime
Mm-hmm.
further west. It looks a lot like he's pointing towards Tintin. So it could be right.
Yeah,
Game theory.
he could be.
Tintin theory.
That's just a theory.
Tintin theory.
Tintin theory.
Goodbye.
But yeah, it turns out that Tintin did find the wreck of the unicorn. He's like, "Alright, let's prepare the diving equipment." And it's Tintin that's going down there because who else would be going? It's Tintin's comic. And Haddock is like, "Are you sure you're gonna be okay?" Because Tintin is kind of disaster prone, so he's like, kind of worried about Tintin. And so Tintin's like, "Yeah, I'll do everything just like you told me." And Haddock is like, "Don't forget, when you want to come up, just yank on the line." Because this is one of these old fashioned diving suits. And I looked it up after when I was editing the last episode. Um, and this comic was published in the 40s, like 1940s.
Oh my
And
god.
that's just what diving suits looked like back then. Like,
Oh.
it wasn't old fashioned. It was, that's just what they looked like back then.
Well, didn't it say on the sign where they bought it, like old stuff?
Well, it could be someone used it before.
I guess, yeah.
but the style where it's like the big metal helmet with the tube running into it,
Okay.
that's the way that diving suits looked back then. So
It's a
yeah,
bit of history.
yeah, there you go. And also, I felt like kind of weird because last time I said, oh, it's like that's just how diving suits looked in the 20s and 30s, but actually, this comic was published in the 40s. So I
Correction.
did kind of want to mention that. So
Al- Also, one thing I think would be funny, spoilers and everything. In when they travel to the moon, Snowy also gets like in spacesuit. I want Snowy to
yeah,
get a water suit in this one.
Same. That would be so cute.
Yeah,
I don't make those back then, which is a real tragedy.
I mean, do they have they made um dog spacesuits now?
Well, I mean, they existed in the Tintin universe when the one comic came out, so
I guess. Yeah.
hold on, I'm googling if there's dog space. The
I,
answer is yes,
there is.
yes. They look really weird.
I'm gonna look it
Like
up
for
too.
dogs?
Yeah, for dogs.
I didn't know they made that.
What? Oh, that looks horrifying.
The
Wait.
steampunk aesthetic though is great.
Yeah. That is very horrifying.
It is.
That,
I love
yeah,
it.
that's weird.
I like how its paws are like sticking out. They don't.
Yeah.
They didn't want to cover that.
That'll be fine. But yeah, it's horrifying and I love it. Anyways,
Yes.
the hat on Tintin, like this big metal dome, and he turns to the Thompsons who are like pumping air into the suit, and Hat goes, "Pump hard," and they're like, "We are." And Tintin sits down, and Snowy he's just kind of like wailing, and then he slips and hits his bum. How does he know it's Snowy who's like yapping at this point, and he's
Oh.
focused on Tintin like he should be, I guess. He's like, "Oh, Tintin reached the bottom."
Literally. Oh, that I feel like that was like part of the joke, Havoc
Yeah.
saying that.
Oh yeah,
Because Snowy literally hit his bottom.
yeah.
Poor Snowy.
Poor Snowy. He gets
I
beat.
don't like it whenever Snowy gets hurt. It just makes me
I
uncomfortable.
know. Poor Snowy.
It's like I could never laugh at a dog like getting hurt. But you know what? That was just comedy back then, I guess.
Well, if the dog isn't like actually hurt, then because like the other day, okay, my dog he likes to get under blankets, and he was sitting on the couch under a blanket the other day, and he just suddenly like leaped up, but he was caught under the blanket, so he just fell to the floor.
Oh
He
no.
was perfectly fine. I want to say that he was perfectly fine. He didn't make a sound. He was just
Oh, okay. Yeah, but in this one, like Snowy is visible crying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When
Well,
dogs
yeah.
are actually hurt, then it's like aw. But when they're not, and you know that, then you can laugh because dogs are just so funny.
I know,
Not that,
right?
not that dogs getting hurt is funny, but
Yeah, not the getting hurt part. It's just like the stunt they pull, the stunts that they pull, and then they just fail completely at it.
yeah,
It's like those dog videos where you like throw like a snack at a dog and then they miss it,
yeah.
and it's in like slow motion.
hmm
That's
Like
really funny.
when dogs do something ridiculous and they're not hurt, they're just kind of a bit confused afterwards.
Because they're like so determined. They're just like, okay, I've done this times,
Yeah.
but then they fail at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, dogs are great.
Yeah.
But
What?
Tintin, no, nothing. I'm just laughing at the fact that my dog fell off the couch the other day.
What?
Okay, because he just got caught under a blanket because he jumped up too fast and he got tangled in it. and my mom had to like call out because he didn't know enough to find his way out again.
I don't know what makes it so funny.
I don't know either.
It just is.
But yeah, Tintin, he's shaking his booty on the bottom of the sea, and it's actually really beautiful when you see the wreck of the ship, because it's just like all these fish, and then there's the plants and stuff, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, he made like half a page dedicated to it. More
As
than
he
half.
because that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
But Tintin, he's like, oh, so this is the unicorn. He goes in the little hole, and he's like, oh my gosh, why did my air supply stop? And Haddock, he's like, what are you two morons doing instead of pumping? And I'm like, we're just resting. It's really tiring, you know? And Haddock's like screaming at them because that's best. And he's like, pump for your lives, faster! And then Tintin's like, oh, okay, I can breathe again. That was weird. He says that it scared him, which obviously it should have.
Yeah, because he's like stuck at the bottom. He's like literally stuck. He can't swim up because of all this heavy equipment on him.
Yeah, literally the point of these suits is that the boots are like weighted so that you go down to the bottom and you stay there. So if he like so he would have drowned and they would have been none the wiser.
Yeah, and the Thompsons are like, it's too tiring.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if Tintin dies. They're just so casual about it.
I don't think they understand that they have to keep pumping or something.
Yeah.
We pumped a lot in there, and so like it's still in there, right?
Man.
Yeah, it was the fact that they're so indifferent. It just bothers me. You know, and that's the Thompsons.
They're just really not smart.
They're just like, well, we're just resting. They're like, why do you think you're pumping?
I know. But also, so Sunflower, who's wearing a hat that looks like it's skin colored.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's but it looks almost exactly like his skin color, so it looks like he just has a weird head. And it's terrible. But
wasn't it a different color?
I think he just has hats that are multiple different colors that look the same.
He switches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Rainbow hat.
Well, no, earlier he actually is wearing that hat. It just is a bit darker, so it's not so obvious.
Yeah, but Harry was like, no, I'm gonna call this in.
Yeah, he's just like flesh colored.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the flesh of Sunflower Man's enemies, which he has defeated.
Maybe.
How dangerous he is.
Don't underestimate
He is
him.
that dangerous.
A reminder to Haddock.
The hat is a reminder. Don't mess with Sunflower Man.
He goes up to Haddock. It's like, you see this hat? Yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyways.
You'll be sleeping with the fishes.
He's pointing downward too, so like you could edit that panel to say you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes soon, Haddock.
Yeah, he's pointing down too.
Well, that's because he's telling he says to Haddock like, hey, I don't understand, since the unicorn is not here, why is Tintin gone down? And so that's why he's pointing down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fitting because like he's pointing down and like him telling Haddock like you should swim with the fishes or something. It fits.
Yeah. But basically Haddock's like, oh, Tintin's down there picking daisies. Tintin, he finds something, and it cuts back to Sunflower and Haddock. He's like, having a row? Well, I don't see a boat. What? And Haddock is just like, oh, Tintin wants to come up. He must have found something. So they pull him up. What?
That was two jerks on the line. I thought it was talking about like people.
Oh, yeah.
There's two jerks on the line. What do we do?
There's two jerks calling. I can't believe this.
Dang it, Tintin.
Man, my version
Why
is
let the jerks.
My version is so like normal to understand. Like he just says, he pulled 2 times on the line. You guys can like, there's 2 jerks on the line.
Yeah.
It sounds
Well,
like a
that's
bidding.
you know, tugging
Yeah,
it.
English is weird.
Mm-mm.
English is a weird language, like honestly. But yeah,
Mm.
Tintin comes up. He's like holding what looks like a knife or like a sword, a cutlass,
Yeah.
and a cross. And it's a gold cross encrusted with precious stones, and a cutlass, which is like a pirate sword kind of thing. You know the swords that have like the little curve around the hand, around the place where you hold it. It's one of those.
Like a
And
pirate sword.
yes, a pirate sword. And Haddock is like, wow, this stuff is great. And Sunflower is in the background plotting to murder them. I'm not even kidding. Like,
I can
oh
use that
god.
sword.
Maybe, yeah, he's like, maybe I can stab him with the sword.
And crucify
But
him.
But Tintin looks really cute in this panel too. He's like, oh, we made a good start, didn't we? And so, but yeah, Sunflower, he's like, why did he tell me that Tintin had gone for a row? And Sunflower says this, by the way.
Hmm.
And Haddock's like, yes, this is a great start, but that's nothing to what else we can find. And then Haddock decides that he's gonna go down this time. And Milko, do you want to take it from here because it's page
Oh.
42, and I didn't mean to, didn't realize this page.
No, it makes sense because you like started at 31, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about. Okay.
Okay, wait, what were you saying?
No, just read. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So, I can't say anything because it's like there's no context.
Mhm.
Okay, so now Haddock's going down.
Mhm.
Haddock's going down, and Tintin's like, okay, I'm putting on the helmet, and then it gets stuck in his mustache. Well, his mustache gets
Mustache.
stuck.
You mean
Not
beard.
mustache. I'm
Must.
I'm sorry.
By the way, Sunflower is still plotting murder in the background. Like he looks so menacing. It's like,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. I know, right? He's been making that face for like entire panels,
Yeah.
and then he walks away like, and it looks really scary.
To his
Yeah, he has his
evil
arm behind his back, and it's
He's
just like
plotting.
he's plotting, guys.
He's gonna add more flesh to his
to his flesh
hat.
hand.
Which is a bit more green now.
Yeah. Okay, so Haddock's beard, yeah, it gets stuck, and then so Tintin's like, okay, now your beard is inside. It doesn't really show how he does it.
Yeah.
I guess he just pushes his, his fingers can squeeze under beams, so I guess can
Yeah.
squeeze under that. Yeah, so now his beard is inside, and he goes down. And he's like, yeah, I found it. And then a few minutes later, uh, and then so Tintin. Oh yeah, the line. There's like a series of jerks. Nah, nobody knows exactly how many jerks, just like a series of jerks.
Mhm.
So Haddock's jerking on the line basically, and it's a danger signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're pulling him up. He has a little assistant with him, and then Haddock he found a bottle. He brings a
Ooh.
bottle of who knows. Looks
Cocaine.
like
Meth.
whiskey.
Oh, of
Looks like
course.
alcohol. What else
Hmm.
could it be?
What else could it be?
Yeah. And then he's like, a bottle of rum, Jamaica rum. And then oh my god, isn't this rum like 1,000 years old?
Yeah,
He said
250
he
years old.
drink.
it's more than 250. He says so.
That's
Like,
that's probably like an antique.
Oh. Oh my god.
Like
well,
one
like I don't actually know how alcohol works, but I don't think it's like a thing where it
it
gets
can it can just keep fermenting for like 250 years.
yeah that.
That's just Jamaican rum.
It's Haddock. He can drink whatever he wants to. He can drink bleach if he wants to.
He can drink bleach and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. Okay, continue.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of morbid. Anyways, so yeah, Haddock's like, tasty. I'm gonna take another. I'm gonna go back to get tasty. He's gonna get another. So he says he's going back down to get another one, and he
Mhm.
like literally dives the
Helmet.
without the helmet. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then Tintin's like, oh my god, he went without his helmet.
They
Oh
goes out.
no.
And so they try to pull him back up, and then yeah, well they pull him back up anyway because he has to. Okay, so and he's like, oh my god, they forgot the pump again, and he calls them names.
It's like they're stupid.
He calls them names like, oh my god, these guys are idiots. Like, and he doesn't realize that he does. He realize he doesn't have the helmet on.
Not yet.
Okay, but then Thompson's like, it wasn't us, and he's like, shut up. And Tim's like, there's no use drying yourself, Captain. You gotta take you have to empty your suit. It's full of water. And then Haddock's like, for some reason, he's like, why would I take it off? But you know, he has to rest before taking it off, I guess. So then he sits down, and the water from inside the suit it splashes up into his it splashes up into his face.
He looks like so chubby. He looks dummy thick.
I know, right? He looks dummy thick. He has turned into Big Chungus.
Big chub. Oh boy. Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like so much water because like the next page after that, Tintin's like, I told you so. Okay, and then they flip him over. they flip him, they all just decide to flip him over at the next panel, and there's like a bunch of water spilling out. And Tintin's like, there, now you can dry yourself, but don't forget your helmet. Okay, so then he puts on his helmet, and he's like, okay, you have to keep pumping, please. You get it? And Thompson's like, okay, yes, I'm pumping. And then he goes back down, and then that's the end of that. I guess
And
he got a bunch of he got a bunch of bottles. That
yeah,
is a lot of bottles.
I thought
So
that
the
blew
same
up.
evening. Hmm?
I think it's pretty weird that that it the bottles didn't blow up from the explosion
What explosion?
from the ship. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's weird.
yeah.
Yeah, they should have exploded. Yeah, they should have like yeah, because they're flammable. That's really weird.
Mm.
I don't know. They were there just for Haddock. They
Yeah.
survived just so Haddock could
Mm.
drink them, I guess.
It was an investment, and it,
Yes. Yeah, the bottles they're consciously just for Haddock.
yes.
Anyways, so Haddock's like, "Oh man, wow, fine stuff, eh?" And then Tintin's like, "Yeah, but I want to find the treasure." Okay, and then Haddock's like, "Okay, we'll find that tomorrow." And then Sunflower or whatever his name is, Sunflower, he's like, I'm gonna drink this rum, and then so then they hear a like cheap noise, and Haddock's like shit. It sounds like a bird. I
I'm
don't
in
know
the
why
ocean
they're concerned. Yes,
about a bird.
cause oh no, it's a bird. We have to go out. We have to see what
Get
it
it out of our ship.
is. Evacuate. Okay, so so it was like I'd say it was a squeak of a wheel or something. And Haddock's like, no, we're going. Let's see. And Haddock's like, oh, is sorry. Tintin's like, oh, it's just a pump making that noise. And it turns out that the Thompsons were like pumping this entire time.
Poor
I think
guys.
they were like sleep pumping. That's what it looks like. And Haddock's like, what do you think you're doing? And Thompson's like, you didn't order stop. So here we are. We're pumping. And Haddock's like, "Okay, go to bed, please.
Go to
You'll have
bed,
plenty
kid.
more pumping." So the next morning, Tintin's there this time, and he's finding the treasure. And Tintin's like, another bottle of rum. I'll leave it there for the captain to get it. I'm not gonna get it for him. He should get it himself. And And he's like, what's this? Because there's like a chest covered in moss. And Tintin's like, oh, great snakes. Could this be Red Rakum's treasure? And then
Oh,
he's going to be like, okay, I'm gonna go straight up see what's inside this casket. But then a shark comes.
oops.
The shark looks very alarmed. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a visitor.
Get him away from my treasure.
It's like, burglar.
Oh my god, a diver. And then it's like, oh my god, a shark. So yeah, but I don't know why the shark looks so scared. But he grabs the he bites down. Yeah, because he can't use his fins to grab the treasure, obviously.
Yeah.
So he gets the treasure with his mouth, and then Tin's like, dang it, oh my gosh, he swallowed it. He's coming back for me.
Oops.
And then the shark, yeah. So the turns out the shark loses its teeth in its attempt to bite down on Tintin's helmet, which is which is like a really strong helmet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's probably part of the reason it was made out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, true. I don't know. I don't know how strong shark teeth are, but dang,
Yeah.
that was epic, epic gamer
Very epic gamer moment.
moment.
Epic game
So,
moment.
so the shark comes trying to come back again, and Tin is like, oh, if only I have a weapon. And then he grabs a bottle, and then he punched. Sorry, not punch. He throws the bottle against the shark's nose, but the
Boing.
shark somehow eats the bottle in the next panel.
Relatable.
So yeah, this is one resilient shark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is just like, and then he knocks over Tintin. It's just Tintin there lying on the floor in the next panel.
It looks like, in the movies or whatever, when a lady like is in danger and she falls over or whatever. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like a damsel in distress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tintin's there, just lying down. He's like, "Oh my gosh, what a blow! Thank goodness the suit wasn't damaged."
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the shirt, yeah, the suit wasn't damaged. Well, it is a strong suit. That's what it's made for, I guess.
Yeah.
So the shark is like dancing because he swallowed the rum.
I think it's
Yeah.
weird that he could like drink an entire bottle of that rum and be pretty conscious and like yeah, but a shark falls asleep immediately after.
Okay, but Haddock is a human who drinks a lot,
Yeah,
so he probably has like a higher level than the
but
shark who's never drank before.
but it's a shark.
Yes.
Yes, but I mean it could
When
also get like enough like interior bleedings and everything, so it's like it gets sad. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's bone hurting rum.
Yeah. Really how it takes a shark to get strong.
Wait. Okay, what? Okay, so the shark he's sleeping now because he bumped into a plank, and then okay, so now he he says the line again, and it's like there's two jerks on the line, and so they pull him out, but
It's a shark.
oh no, it's the shark tail.
It's a trap.
Oh, the shark tail.
My favorite movie.
Shark tail. Yes, y'all should watch it. It's a good
No,
movie.
Weird
No,
and
it's not.
it's
It's
bad.
okay, so well, wow, we got how to say we got a shark. What does he want us to do with it? And then yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what they want.
Like
Like,
what else?
why did he tie it to the shark?
Hmm?
No one knows.
Mm-mm.
Why did he tie the rope to the shark?
Because it swallowed the chest.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. 'Cause I was just too busy like focusing on like the shark just eating Tintin.
And not having
Yeah,
bones.
we were busy wondering how long it would take sharks to get drunk.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I know.
Well, let's finish this up.
Important.
Ye-
Okay, so he's like, okay, the best thing is to ask him. So let's pull him up. And Tin's like, up I go. And Haddock, when he gets there, Haddock's like, what is the meaning of this joke? And Tintin's like, joke? You just gotta cut open the shark.
There's like
Which
a
is like,
paper
really,
right.
okay. Let's cut open the shark. And Cactus is like, in any case, I believe the fins are particularly tasty. Like, wow, y'all want to eat the shark? Okay, cool. I don't know. I don't know what shark tastes like.
I don't either.
I'm not judging. So like a few minutes later, assuming they cut open the shark. No,
Hmm.
you don't want to show that.
No, that's much too gruesome.
Yeah, and then so Thompson's like, look, we found the shark's stomach. And
Hmm.
Haddock's like, oh, it's Red Rakum's treasure. Here it is. And then they go into the cabin, and then Haddock's trying to use his blade to open the chest, but like it's 250 years old, so like it's
Yeah.
all rusted up. And then Tintin's like, here, you better try this case opener.
I would just call it a crowbar.
Yeah,
Because it's a case opener code, so there's a
case.
Dedicated.
Yeah, isn't it just a crowbar?
it's a
Yeah.
tiny bar.
Yeah.
It's a tiny crowbar.
AKA
A,
a case bar. Case opener.
case opener. Yes. And Haddock's like, okay, good idea. Hold on tight. And then so he yanks it. He yanks it open. He manages to yank it open, but in his attempt, he bumps into Calculus's head. And Calculus is like, ow. He like bumps Calculus's head into the chest.
That's
Poor
why
guy.
he's flopping.
And so they look into the chest, and he's like, no, it's not the treasure. What the heck? These are documents.
Ooh, I'm very interested.
Yeah. Documents. Oh my god. Well, it actually is interesting because, like,
Yeah.
right?
Imagine if it was like
Yeah.
someone's diary. That would be so interesting, actually. Like, imagine reading an old diary that had been at the bottom of the sea from like 250 years. That'd be actually awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
that
no
would be
joke.
like some Anne Frank kind of,
Yeah.
So you were
yeah.
about to say anime.
No.
Just like
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that would be interesting though. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, and Haddock's like, what are we supposed to do with documents? And
Read
Zin's like, oh, come on, Captain. We'll continue our search. And Captain's like, what's the use? Like, they literally just pulled. I know they probably spent a long time at sea, but
Yeah.
they got a casket, and it's probably like really important. And Haddock's like already giving up.
Like they did find the ship. They found a lot of really valuable
Yeah,
stuff besides that. Like
Yeah.
it's not like they wasted their time coming out
Yeah.
here. They did find the
yeah. They found rum, and they found like a bunch of rum.
Yeah.
He should be excited that that we're still doing this.
Probably
Mhm.
very strong room, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cactus is like, okay, I got it. These are old documents, which they just said.
Oh, incredible job! What a
Good job,
discovery!
and yeah, yeah. And Haddock's just like really mad at him, and he
Yeah.
goes out and he's like, oh my god, he's driving crazy. Um, and
Haddock,
he's like,
Haddock is
wait, what?
like Haddock's like if he doesn't kill me first, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, well, he is a dangerous man,
Uh,
so I wouldn't bet on it.
okay, but like each of the characters seem to have their own superpowers. Like Sunflower is very dangerous. Haddock is unbelievably strong from when he pulled up a submarine, and then Tintin has like the most ridiculous luck ever. So like, imagine if they were like in a superhero setting. Like,
Yeah.
I guess they kind of, but like not like it kind of is superhero like thing that they're doing a lot of the time. Just not the way that we would typically see it today. Like there's no,
I
you
mean,
know.
Like it's not realistic enough.
it's comic fiction. That's the thing.
I almost said that they don't fight super villains, but they actually do have like some pretty ridiculous people that they face off against. So like, you know,
They're like
I know,
chaotic
right?
evil.
That's so cool.
They face each other.
but like basically my point is that I've come to is that Tintin is an old-fashioned superhero comic, just not the
Yeah,
think of it today. I don't know where I
yeah.
got from there, so just reading.
He is though, yeah, because he's got ridiculous. Not only is Tintin super lucky, he's also kind of super strong.
Yeah,
Just not as
honestly,
strong as Haddock, because they have to show that Haddock is strong.
yeah. But Tintin is pretty strong, to be honest.
Yeah, because his sneeze can break a jail cell.
Yeah.
That was back then. That's not Tintin. That's not what Tintin is now.
Tintin in the land of the Soviets was Tintin at his peak, and then he had to contain his massive powers, and that's why he's not like that ever again.
Tintin's like, I'm only using 2% of my power.
Yeah.
It's like
Tintin
those Shaggy memes.
was one all along.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you, Gladys like, what are you doing, Thompson? And Tom's like, he just confronts people. And Thompson's like, me, I'm helping my colleague to go down.
Yeah.
But don't worry, it's not like I can, screw up. It's not my character. It's not in my character to like screw up.
Yeah, there's no way I'll kill him on accident. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, and then Haddock's like, what about the pump? You already screwed up. The pump works by itself, I suppose. And then so Haddock's like, I'll just work on the pump, okay? At least I'll know he's safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
actually
then
so nice of like wholesome of the captain to just say that. Like he'd come down by
yeah,
pumping.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like at least he like is lazy. Like he's like, oh my god, you do it.
You are
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are gonna kill somebody. Let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's got to take care of these Toms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he sees the shoes that like are supposed to weigh them down,
Yeah.
and so like apparently he forgot the weighted boots, so now he's in the water, and he's upside down in the water. He's like doing a headstand in the water because how heavy the thing is.
Yeah.
And then a fortnight later,
Yeah.
a fortnight later,
Overlord.
so they're pumping as usual. And then Haddock's like, "Can you guys stop pumping? Tintin, can you see that Tintin's come up already? So you don't have to." And he's like, "Well," and Tintin's like, "Nothing. I've been." He says, "I've been carefully through all that's left of poop." He says
He
that's what he says.
it's a ship term, but like
What?
poop is a ship term. And so
I
he's
didn't know that.
well, like, in the cartoons where they are like, go swab the poop deck. That's
Oh
it's,
yeah.
um, it's just a boat term, so
But it sounds so funny.
it does.
I've been scooping through this poop and I haven't found anything. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
honest.
so yeah, honestly, just boat terms. There's booty and then there's poop.
Thank you, Milky. Very valuable lesson on nautical life.
Yes, I know a lot about ships. There's
Mhm.
poop and then there's booty.
Anyway.
So Heddick's like, we aren't going to find it, like I said. And Tin's like, come on, Captain. You just got it. I don't know why he's so frustrated. I guess Tintin's an optimist and Haddock's a narcissist.
A what?
I mean, sorry, not narcissist. What am I? Pessimist.
Pessimist.
Yeah, I'm
Narcissist.
sorry. I just keep on messing up the words.
No, it's fine. I do that sometimes too.
Okay, so Calculus is like, what is that cross over there? And then Tintin's like, you see it? Where do you see a cross? And then he's like, there, it's on the lands. And then Tintin uses a telescope to look, and then there it is. There's the cross. It's on
Ooh.
land. And then Tintin's like, "Wow, Professor Calculus is right for once." Just kidding. He's a genius. So there's a
Yeah.
cross on the tip of the island, and
Dare
then
you disrespect him like that, Goku?
yeah, he's a dangerous man. He could kill me. And then Haddock looks through the telescope, and he's like, "Yeah, wow, that is a cross." And then yeah, they're all just saying it's a cross.
Oh,
That
that
is
sure is.
one cross. Okay, so
Whoa.
yeah, we got it. And um, so then Tintin's celebrating. He's dancing with Calculus because he found a cross.
It's very cute.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
Yeah, the cross is like really important because it's probably where the treasure is.
Yeah.
It is where the treasure is. Who am I kidding? Well, we'll see. We'll see
We'll
where the
see.
treasure actually is.
Should
Yeah.
I take over from here, Milky? Or do you want to take just the...
Finish the page though.
Yeah, I'll finish the page. And so he's like, quickly, Captain, get the shovels. We're going back to the island. And oh wait, okay, yeah. He says the treasure lies there. You remember remember the words from like the last where we found the parchment, and then Haddock's like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so then they get the shovels and they're swimming towards the island now.
In a boat.
Yeah, I mean swimming. I mean not swimming. I'm so bad. I'm just so like I don't know why.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, Koso, your turn.
Okay. Yeah, so I like swimming, quotation marks, to the island, and they go over to the cross, which the biggest brainers, Calculus / Sunflower Man, found, and they start digging. But Tintin, he explains that it's a calendar. Your ancestors counted the days, just like every other people do. And then Captain is like, "Whoa, they were smart." And so they start digging, and everyone's digging, but except for Calculus, he's just like an NPC in a video game. Like he can only say one line: "More to the west."
Yeah.
So they keep on digging and have like make this like giant hole, like a solid meter deep hole. And they're like, I don't think it's here anymore. But then they're like, whoa. I don't think it's here, Captain. So they go back. Yeah, okay. They just Tintin just explains that he probably would have taken the treasure with him. You dumb
Yeah.
Captain. And so they're like, oh no, now we have to go all the way back from this paradise.
Yeah.
And Calculus, he's just sitting there with his with his pendulum, swinging it and saying, "More to the west, more to the west."
He looks like a little child watching his parents do work in the
Yeah.
garden.
And so the captain had like he yeets away his pendulum, but then Snowy is so nice and fetches the pendulum back to Sunflower Man, and that is actually so sweet to look at. Yes. So they go back and they just return back to the ship. And Susan Thompson have decided to fill in the hole again with dirt.
But you missed the part where Haddock gets so mad at Sunflower that he starts like he's got the pickaxe and Tintin's like, Captain, and then Haddock winks a coconut tree and gets beamed in the head with a coconut. Or 2, or 3, or 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So they decide to continue looking for it, but it's just like more parts.
Yeah.
So like a solid week, 6 days later, the sunflower he comes into the captain's quarters, like his room, and says, "I think the treasure is a little more to the west." And then Haddock gets so mad that he takes him to look at the entire like forward figure of the entire ship of the unicorn, which they've tied down. And so they set sail home towards the spike thing.
Marlin Spike.
Marlin Spike, yeah. And they're finally home, and then there's all of this stuff. Oh boy. And they're going to get it reported to the newspaper people. And this reporter guy, he falls down on the deck. Yada yada yada. Yada yada yada. The captain, he just says, Sunflower Man to talk to this reporter. And Sunflower Man being Sunflower Man, nothing makes sense. Timson and Thompson, they've decided to go on a holiday, in quotation mark.
Yeah.
But they're just going to pump again, and the same, but now it's not an air pump. Now it's an corn pump, like corn mill thing. Yeah.
Corn pump.
Shut up, corn pump.
Midway.
We're pumping corn.
Pumping corn out of the ground. Yeah. So now they all realize that, whoa, all this parchment thingies, they all say that the Marlin Spike, it once Haddock's family once owned it. And whoa, that's probably where the treasure is. Whoa.
What?
And guess what?
Oh, no.
It all lines up.
Yay.
Now, the Marlin Spike is on. It's being sold. And then. And then they're like, "Where do we get the money? I have the money. Problem solved." Because Sunflower Man, he sold his shark thingy to the Germans to destroy the British supply lines during the war.
Yeah.
So they buy the Marlin Spike, and then there's this sign that says "Castle for sale," and the captain, he writes, "This castle is no longer for sale" on it.
Yeah, and then he signs his name at the bottom.
Yeah.
Wow.
BM. Then they go back to then they go on to the Marlin Spike, and it's pretty cool, like, to be honest.
It is. It's very lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. And they go down to the basement where Tintin was kept. Can we see Beam? No, we can't see Beam.
No, Beam.
Beam.
Beam abandoned us.
Yeah.
Abandoned us. God, I can't speak right now.
Beam is a meme. So they roam around the basement, where Beam supposedly was going to be woods. And they do all this. They're looking for the Eagle's Cross. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they find this guy with a statue with a cross, and that's good enough for them. And so
I think that it's just a kind of a coincidence that they find this, because they were looking through the stuff down there, and Tintin's like, "Oh, that's a statue of Saint John the Evangelist. This must be like an old chapel or something." And eventually, Tintin explains why seeing the statue, led to him going, "Oh, this is where the treasure must be." It's
it's like this. He explains that the guy, Johannes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did all of this thing, and he's very often pictured as a eagle. So yeah,
Mm.
that's like detective work.
Well,
And
they
so
say he's always with an eagle. They don't draw
yeah.
him as an eagle. That'd be something, huh?
Wait, it says in my version that he's often pictured as an eagle.
Well, in the English version, it says Saint John the Evangelist, who is always depicted with an eagle, and he's called the Eagle of Patmos after the island where he wrote his Revelation.
No, well,
So he is,
he has something to do with eagles, and he
yeah,
also
that's
has
He is the eagle.
yes. He also has a globe by his foot, and so he's like, "We were there," and points on the globe and presses it, and spring the entire the entire like side of it or like top of it
yeah,
jumps out, and it's filled with jewelry and stuff, and it's so
it's
beautiful.
treasure,
It was right in
Wow.
front of their noses all along.
right? Those
Uh,
bird brothers, they spent so long and did so much terrible things to get this treasure, and it's just in their basement the
yeah,
whole time.
yeah. But
Sucks for
they,
them.
yeah. Then they hear someone, but it's just Sunflower Man. That was like
Yes.
kind of pointless. I don't really get that. This
Yeah.
is about to be the end of Wakanda. No. The Tinmore Podcast. No, that's not true either. The history of Rakum the Red's treasure thingy.
That's it. There you go.
And they have this giant museum and fireworks and everything's cool.
Yeah.
So that was Rakum the Red and his treasure. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
We are very happy
Also,
that you reach this point. Thank
also,
you.
the reason that the pendulum was swinging, they explained that it was because it was pointing towards the treasure in the basement, and so that's why it was swinging the way it was.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, final thoughts, everyone?
Yes. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, it's not a bad follow-up to Unicorn, but it doesn't really seem to stand out on its own very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, true.
And
I think
like you
it's
think Unicorn, and then you're just kind of like, oh yeah, Red Rakum happened. It's, you know,
yeah. You remember in the we talked about in the first half of this comic book about like the Max Bird
yeah,
and Timson Thompson was sent to like assist Tintin and Haddock because of him, but that's not really a problem. He doesn't really show. He doesn't show up at all. So
well, it could be so that like he can show up later, and it wasn't necessarily like for that comic. It was to set up that the Bird Brothers are free, so that they can have the possibility to return later.
Did they?
yeah, did they?
I can't remember
I
honestly.
don't think so.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't think.
I could.
Yeah, like a lot of pointless stuff happens. It's usually like filler. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of like filler in this comic, and like
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I'm kind of bummed that like that like it was here in Marlin's like the whole time. But you know what? It was a fun adventure.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We
just
were introduced to
like the
some.
plot, because the plot in the last book was so intricate. Like there
It
were like
was.
three plots that like they went together in the
Yeah,
final phase. But like this one, it's mostly just them like
yeah,
swimming
Yeah, and
around.
then the last one, everything just connected. Like the thief, he had a history. Like he had a what's it called? Like a storyline through the entire
Yeah.
comic. Like, and these side characters in Timson and Thompson, they also battle this, and it ends up like completely coming together compared to this.
Yeah.
To
This one feels just like a lot of filler. Like it's mostly filler, and
yeah,
I'd say that only not even 10 pages were like actual plot points. You
yeah.
know?
I mean, technically, the entire like nearly the 90% of the book is just filler because it was just at the Marlin Spike all along. But that's like
Yeah.
the point of the book.
Oh, but they did find like the unicorn and
Yeah.
the stuff display.
Hmm.
So, and they found a paper that said that Marlin Spike belonged to Haddock, and so that's why they bought the house and found it in the first place. So I guess it wasn't like completely pointless. It just feels kind of like that because, oh, it's just here all along. But if they hadn't gone to the wreck, then they wouldn't have found out, oh, this place belongs to Haddock's family, and so he should have it. And they wouldn't have been there because someone else probably would have bought it, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
Mm.
I think it's a very beautiful book and it's very funny. It seems like a more relaxing. Like
Yeah,
there's no like villain except a shark and their misunderstanding and misinterpretation
yeah,
of
it's
it.
a lot more back than all the other ones so far because it's all like big grand adventure, and then this one is just kind of like, yeah, me and the boys are gonna go out and treasure hunt. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's like no villain going up against them.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's really laid back.
yeah. That's beautiful. But yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty.
that was the Rakum the Red Treasure, guys. We did it.
We did it.
Yay.
Thank you for listening along, dear viewer people. If you reach this far, type the number 7 in the comments because you are epic. Big
Yes.
PP. Remember to do all that funky stuff. Like, subscribe, share with your grandparents. Hope you are not sharing physical contact with your grandparents.
Yeah. Anyway.
That is a better idea. Hope you won't slaughter as many people as Sunflower will do.
Yes.
Goodbye.